Good evening once again, everyone, and welcome to the place to be on a Monday night. Of course, it is round 6 of season 14 of Monday Night Lights, coming to you live and exclusive on the Top Split YouTube channel here. Of course, we're at Donington this week, the national layout, the good layout, the one that brings all the people out to play. And of course, this week, joining me for the very first time, a little taste of Team Milo here. We've got Alex J. John, Mr. Alex John, joining us here for the very first time. AJ, are you ready and pumped for a big race?
Yeah, I'm excited, Alex. A long-time viewer and occasional racer of Monday Night Lights, and now I'm finding myself in the combox. So happy to be here and excited to see what Donington's going to put on tonight.
Perfect. Yeah, looking out for a good race tonight. We've got a really strong race lined up here tonight. Second strongest field of the week. Once again, we've got about 3,600 worth of I-rated drivers out there tonight for the strength of field. And joining us, I've just got him on screen at the moment, the series champion just gone by, who informed me earlier this season, I should say, that he had study commitments on a Monday night. So he's making a special guest appearance here tonight as young Bill Fraser. Great to see him back out on track. Number 3 plated driver tonight, and looking for a good performance. Of course, our current season leader in Fahim Antonides, he's got the number 1 car tonight, and he's out looking to put on another strong performance. And number 2 out of our top 3 with a very angry looking nose cone there is Mr. Tim Gorkroch, a part-time commentator and part-time racer, of course, here on a Monday night, looking to mix it with the best tonight. And speaking of looking to mix it with the best, I just want to throw a bit of love out to Mr. Tim Awema, who is another one of our part-time commentators and another one who enjoys his racing. And I'm just going to, in the early stages if I can, just throw across, he's also streaming the race live. So if you've ever wondered what it looks like from the cockpit of one of the guys in the race, you can have a look there. Timmy's streaming tonight. The heart rate, if you notice down the bottom, he's still pretty light on at 103. I know Tim gets right into his racing, and he could get a bit higher tonight depending on how he goes. His first ever appearance in the Monday Night Light Top Split. So congratulations, Tim. Let's hope he does well out there tonight, Alex.
Yeah, it's great to see Tim, and he didn't even sneak in. He's actually, I think, 15 out of 17 tonight, so he's made it in comfortably.
He's had a great week, or last couple of weeks, jumping a whole bunch of I-ratings. So great to see him out there, and hopefully his good run continues. But there are other people out there on track. Troy Burgess, another old-time Skippy racer, back in the fray tonight. He did the run in the Australasian Super Skips last night with a few of us, and had a pretty good performance after an early setback. Great to see him out there and see what he can pull out tonight. I might pull up where we're sitting in the standings so far. Tim Gorkroch, I should say, currently sitting in provisional pole ahead of Ben Snell and Fahim Antonides. Great to see Tim out there. He was pretty confident earlier in the night when we spoke to him, so hopefully for his sake that confidence was well founded, as he's parked it for the night, so, or at least for the qualifying, and must be pretty happy with his run, AJ.
Yeah, that's a great job from Tim. I was expecting Fahim was going to hit the top, a home track for him. He's coming around to complete his second lap now, but obviously a lot of the Australian guys hot off the super skips from last night, so they've done plenty of laps, and they'll know this track as well as any of the regulars, locals here.
Yeah, absolutely. For him, only managing P3 behind Bill Fraser, as I said, making his special guest appearance tonight. I've got your teammate, Mr. Russell Clark, circulating, although it looks like he might be on his cool down lap. Just trying to see if anyone's out there still setting a lap. Does not look to be the case. Perhaps Ian Bevan. No, he slowed down after his second lap, only managing P11 for Ian. That's pretty disappointing by his standards. Mr. Awema, car number 15, currently sitting in P13. Let's just see how he goes as he rounds out his final qualification lap. Ben Snell currently sitting in provisional pole. Mr. Awema, the Golden Stig, coming across with a 118 dead, jumping up to P9, AJ. Can you believe that? What a great entry into the top split for young Stiggy.
Oh, well, look, just watching his recent races, I think you have to believe it. He's in with a good chance of a top 10 here tonight if he's able to stick in there with the fast guys, and yeah, he's on for a possible very good result in the top split.
Yeah, great to see him going great guns. So we've just got who we got here completing their lap here. Aaron Borg. We might see. I think he might be trying to sneak in a late time there. He doesn't actually. Where's he sitting at the moment? No, he hasn't set a time as yet. The ANZ club member down sitting in P16, car number 16 at the moment. We might follow his final dash at the qualification laps. Let's just see what he's got going here. Coming down. Excuse me, the final run towards the final chicane and corners in Goddard. Just heavy braking zone. Switch to driver's right, back to driver's left. Coming up to complete his lap. Quite quick by the looks. 18. No, he's run a bit slow there. And all the way down in the 19s. And it looks like he may have indeed got an incident point on that lap because the time failed to register. That's a shame for him. However, while we wait for him to just... Looks like he's running some cool down laps. Why don't we grab a look at the grid here if I can find the right view. There we go. No, that's not the one. Let's do that. All right, folks. Let's have a look at our grid for tonight's race. Round 6 of Monday Night Lights, Season 14, as we mentioned, coming to you from Donington Park. P1 going to your fellow Team Milo compatriot AJ and Ben Snell. Great time from him. A 17.3 or 2.97. Fantastic result. Bill Fraser making that special guest appearance tonight from UK and I with a 17.3 behind him in P2. Fahim Antoinides, another leading the Team Movano and UK and I charge here with a 17.5 in P3. To P4 to another ANZ club member in Troy Burgess, a long-time Skippy driver making another shot at the title. P5 to Tim Gorkrocher. Perhaps that confidence a little bit misplaced early on. All the way down in P5 with a 17.6. P6, Håkon Grebstad, all the way from Scandinavia. Currently in P2 overall in the Monday Night Lights standing with a 17.7 in P6. P7, Kevin Henderson, long-time favourite here at Monday Night Lights with a 17.8. P8 is Oscar Chinchillamaza from Iberia, joining us once again and sitting comfortably in P8. P9, the Golden Stig himself, making his first appearance in the top split with an 18 dead. He'll be happy with that result, no doubt. P10, his teammate for Team Venom Racing in John Scholz with an 18 dead as well. Not far behind. Look at that, 6/1000ths of a second separating. Moving on to P11, another Team Milo veteran here with an 18-1 in Russell Clark representing ANZ once again. P12, we have Mr. Ian Bevan, another ANZ club member with an 18-3. Perhaps disappointing there for Ian, no doubt probably hoping for better. P13 going to Cristobal Otero Roman, who did actually join us in chat briefly, I think, before the race, and will be streaming on YouTube as well with an 18.5. P14, Corey J. Ott, who I had a fantastic race with last night, from ANZ, of course, with an 18.8. 15th tonight will be Bernd Holbeisen, sorry mate, with a 20.5 in P15. 16, Aitor Lejaraga, apologies again, from Iberia, not setting a time, and also not setting a time was Mr. Aaron Borg, as we saw, looking to take the grid in the final spot tonight. AJ, thoughts before we get underway?
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to think of who's my favourite here, but looking at, say, the top 6, 7, 8 cars, hell, we've even got Timo Weimer in 9th. Look, anybody could win this.
Yeah, certainly could, as the guys look to take the grid early on. Should be a fantastic race tonight. Looking forward to a jam-packed grid full of high-quality races, I have to say. All the way down the grid, you look top to tail. There's plenty on offer tonight. The guys just thinking about their race now as we wait for the last couple to join the grid. Have about 20... I don't know if Snell's going to look after us. No, he's back on. I was going to do the quick track... weather and what have you, but the lights are coming on now. The revs are rising as we watch the green lights go and the race down to turn 1 here. It's a passing opportunity, but perhaps not early on. The guys looking to settle in into Redgate now on the start of 19 laps here at Monday Night Lights once again. Everyone look, 2, not quite 3 wide, almost. The guys getting through pretty safely there and looking to settle in for the race, AJ.
Yeah, it looks like we've had a pretty clean start, but I do see there is one car off the track back there. Oh, and we've got another one that's just spun before the Craner curves.
Yeah, it's Ian Bevan gone off pretty early there, unfortunately for him, and hopefully he can recover, and it will be an absolute recovery drive for him there. And the other one going out there early was Oscar Chinchilla Marza, the 10 car, all the way down in P16 at the moment, as they're really trying to sort themselves out early. There's a pack of four led by Ben Snell at the moment, of course, our pole sitter, looking to get away early. But there's a hungry pack behind them led by Kevin Henderson, who we're riding on board with at the moment in the 12 car, looking to make sure that they're still in the hunt for the top positions at the end of the race, AJ.
Yeah, well, it looks like Kevin Henderson, he's been able to get on the back of that pack of four, so it's a pack of five now. And if these guys are smart, oh, as Snell, that's going to be a slowdown for him as he goes through the final chicane. I
That
was going to
was...
say,
sorry, mate.
the smart thing to do would be to just settle in and try and get a gap.
I'm wondering if the pressure got to young Snell there, because he launched off that final chicane at Goddard's as the leading pack now rounds Redgate on the starter lap 2. And that's cost him dearly. He's all the way down now after that epic slowdown in P7. Looking to get overtaken now by... Oh, Siri, would you please not jump in the middle there? The Stig himself putting pressure on Snell as they go 2 by 2 into the old hairpin. Snell losing the rear end of the car, hanging on to it. No! The snap oversteer, and his race has gone from diamonds to rocks, starting on the pole and ending up all the way back at the field. I have to say, largely of his own making. That's an unfortunate mistake for the Team Milo driver there, AJ.
Yeah, what can Ben do? He can't seem to catch a break. Last week it was Monza, the first lap incident, and this week again, first lap incident. Look, he is going to have to sort of sit back and review that one and maybe take a different approach to his race starts for the next week.
Yeah, look, he compounded error upon error there as we see the two UK and I drivers take us through the final chicane at the end of lap 2 now. Looking to run away with this one. I'm watching for young Mr. Gorkrotch, who's now currently in P6. On the back of this pack, sitting behind Mr. Kevin Henderson in the 12 car as they go 2 by 2 into the first corner at Redgate now, trying to shuffle these positions. The ones that are sitting back with the bit of patience there are Mr. Henderson and Mr. Scorecrotcher, respectively, as they 2 by 2 still in front of them. Grebstad just tucking in behind Troy Burgess now as they run down the hill towards the old hairpin now. Looking to get themselves line astern through here to maximise their speed. No overtaking through there, unless you tread where angels fear to, of course. And perhaps later in the race, we might see that as again, they're getting racy up front. Fahim Antonides now sticking to the inside as they go through McLean's now. It is a legit passing opportunity if you guys work together, and they have. They've made it work. Still 2 by 2 as they approach Coppice now on the tail end of lap 3, up the back straight now towards the final chicane. Still 2 by 2. They're working hard for their money here, and it looks like they finally line astern at the least likeliest of positions on the track as they approach the final chicane on the tail end of lap 3. Grebstad making the move up the inside of Burgess, looks to be getting it done. Hasn't compromised his run because that'll leave him vulnerable on the approach to Redgate. But no, they line astern once again and seem to be getting it done, AJ.
Yeah, that was really smart driving from Burgess there. You saw Hockon had the run down the inside, and Burgess chose to get out of the gas early and not cost them any time as they go through the chicane, because that's certainly not a place where you want to be trying to get two cars side by side.
No, you're right. Smart racing early on. You want to save that sort of stuff 2 by 2 right to the end of the race when you've got things certainly well and truly sorted up the front, which they seem to have kind of done now. I mean, they've broken out to what is about a 2.8 second gap before Mr. Awema, who's on top of the second pack. In fact, he's running a solo race. He'll be pretty happy at this stage running a solo there, but perhaps looking behind him because Aaron Borg, who we saw early on missing out on qualification, just cutting across the front of John Skoltz there in P's 8 and 9 respectively. He was 9/10. He's now the full second behind. The Golden Stig looking to run away with P7 here, and wouldn't that be a great turnout for his first race, AJ?
Yeah, look, and he's also going to have bragging rights over his teammate John Schultz. Tim's having his first appearance in the top split and finds himself in P7. and up 2 spots from where he started as well.
Oh, Scholzy, he's made it very hard for Aaron Borg there, who I have no doubt through that chicane picked up a slowdown commensurate with not quite the likes of Mr. Snell, who's ducked right at the back, but he's managed it well if he has picked up one, because he hasn't lost anything more than the position as they went 2 by 2. We were talking about racecraft a bit earlier and what's smart to do at this stage of the race. It certainly wasn't 2 by 2 through the final chicane through Goddard's there, but they've made it work somehow, even if there was a little bit of off-track adventures. But what it's done is it allowed Mr. Awema now. He's out to a 2-second lead and no doubt grinning all the way. We might check in with him a bit later. Jumping back up to the front, it's all happening here still with Hawkon Grebstad now in P3 putting pressure all over the front two UK and I guys. It's an international flavour up the front now with Troy Burgess, the first of the ANZ club, in P4, sitting behind Bill Fraser, Fahim Antonides and Hawkon Grebstad, who... It has to be said, Fahim and Hawkon in P2 and 3 respectively are fighting out this championship for Monday Night Lights Season 14 tooth and nail as they stick like glue to each other at the front of this race, AJ.
Yeah, they're absolutely putting it on for us right here, and it's looking like these top 3 guys, they could be about to gap the other pack of 3. I think they have got the pace. If they work together and stop this sort of 2 by 2 action, they could pull out a gap on these other guys.
Yeah, potentially, you're right. I know Troy Burgess had some great pace in the super skips last night, and Gorkrotch, of course, he's no mug. We know he can hang on to these guys and hopefully get more actively involved towards the later stages of the race as we head down the hill now towards the old hairpin, of course. Lovely sweeping. 3rd or 4th gear, what's your preference through the old hairpin, AJ?
Oh, look, I'm a 4th gear person, but yeah, you've got options there. But of course, it's very easy if you push that corner too hard, it'll bite, as we saw with Ben Snell earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. I've tossed and turned over 3rd or 4th there. I've taken 3rd this season to get that extra bit of rotation as they come up the hill now, this leading bunch through Coppice now, probably the most challenging corner on this course, it has to be said, with the cresting blind right-hander that you're taking in 3rd, sometimes in 2nd, depending on what traffic you're in. They look to be going almost 3 wide now. No, they're working themselves out. 2 wide now. We've got... Fahim Antonides on the outside of Fraser, who gets the job done. Hawkon Grebstad now looking to take advantage now as they cross the line on the tail end of lap 6. No, the tail end of lap 6, yes it was, with just the 13, or the balance of 13 remaining. It's really getting hot up front with Grebstad holding off now. A hard-charging Gorkrotcher who has moved up a spot in front of Troy Burgess, looking to make his mark on this race. The angry livery showing that baring his teeth on the front of that car number 2 tonight. Interesting to see what he can make of this run now. Looks to be biding his time, working patiently through the field. He's up several positions. Oh, just the one. He must have lost a couple off the start, but certainly making his way back through the field, AJ.
Yeah, look, they're making a fool of me. I said if they worked together, they could get a gap, but they've just let Timmy Gowkrodger, who's probably Australia's best hope here, they've let him right back in to this race.
Yeah, just showing the nose up there as they head up through Coppice, that challenging right-hand corner once again down this back straight. What's he going to do now? Is he going to put the pressure on Grebstad, or is he just going to bide his time? I think, if anything, these 4 could potentially break a gap, although Antonides now looking up the inside once again of Fraser as they go through to Goddard's now on the tail end of lap 7, putting Grebstad all over the back of Fraser now. In fact, he's forced with that extra pace to go towards the outside at turn 1 as they approach turn 1 now at Redgate now. Grebstad 3 wide. Gorkrotcher looking to take advantage of the poor run there. He's got up the inside of both of them, but Fraser getting the drive out of the corner. What's Gorkrotcher going to do here? Is he going to be able to hang on, or is... Yes, Grebstad thinking better of it, pulls in behind as they're on the run down to the old hairpin once again, AJ.
Yeah, and look, Gorkrotcher's looking really fast right here, and I'm looking at the cars around. Everybody else has picked up a little bit of front wing damage, but Gorkrotcher has looked after his car and is nice and straight, so he'll have a good turn of speed down that back straight to get a move done into the chicane.
Absolutely. Now you can see just off in the distance behind these guys, we've got Mr. Awema, the Golden Stig, running a very lonely race. We might see what these guys, before we do the cross, we might see what these guys are doing into this final chicane here on the approach to the end of lap 8 this time. They're pretty settled through there, so why don't we take that cross now over to the Golden Stig again. Look at the heart rate, 122. He's not looking happy with it, but he's okay. The ticker's still going at this stage of the race as he runs through there. He's probably disappointed dropping this front pack. Lovely run through the final chicane there. The front pack, of course, still working away up front. But look, it's really great to see Tim having a great run, and no doubt, whilst he's probably disappointed he's not in the mix for the racing part of it, certainly a good performance for his first time. As we jump back up the front, we see Mr. Gorkrocher still tucked away there into P3 at this stage. They go through the old hairpin once again on the run up Starsky's Bridge to the, well, it's the lesser of the passing opportunities around here at the top of this hill at McLean's, and they're all line astern once again, AJ.
Yeah, of course, they'll be looking to get the bulk of their moves done down into the chicane, I'd say. But, you know, you've got options at Redgate as well, and you could try and put something on at the old hairpin if you get a good run out of Redgate. But yeah, a smart move would be to try and pull something off right here down the back straight.
Yeah, absolutely. But they look to be holding off on that sort of action at the moment, or Grebstad looking interested at the moment. Of course, the other racer that's streaming here tonight, as we hop on board him live now, we've got Mr. Ian Bebb, and of course had that unfortunate incident early at the race. He's fighting his way back now. Currently, by the looks of it, I think he's in P11. P12, as he's tucked in behind Burnt and Corey Ott. Corey having a great run. First time I've seen Corey in the top split, and it's great to see him having a good run too. But Ian Bevan, of course, fighting his way back through this pack. Got good pace. Hasn't had the best of luck this week as the leaders now coming down to the old hairpin once again. Almost 2x2. Oh, look at Fraser setting the cat amongst the pigeons there. It's Gorkrocher having to fight tooth and nail just to stay on the track, as he was forced wide there by the wayward Bill Fraser. All that good work undone as Gorkrocher falls all the way back down to 6. As 2x2 they go through the top end of the back end of the track there at McLean's, on the run up to Coppice now. Still 2x2 Grebstad. No, just taking a defensive line from Burgess as Gorkrocher currently licking his wounds, AJ.
Yeah, that's a hard blow for Tim there. You know, this is really a momentum car, and when you have you end up out on the grass like that, you just get absolutely swallowed up by the rest of the pack. But yeah, he's shown he's got the pace here to get right up there. So I'm expecting that he's going to be putting moves on, and he's going to want to position himself up as far as he can get before lap 18, 19, so that he can have a run at the win potentially.
Yeah, I tell you what, for him, Antonides, 1.1 second lead. He's almost away here. He's got some great time trial pace. We know he's out to 1.2 at the moment. Grebstad thinking better of the attacking move into Redgate there, just in the hope that Fraser's got the pace to get back on, but already 1.2, back to 1.1 as they duck through the old hairpin on the mid stages of lap 11. Just 8.5 to go at this stage. The guy's thinking, what might we have done here? We might have let one of the quickest guys around, who we know can lead very well from the front, get away here, although Bill Fraser has grabbed just over a tenth back there through McLean's as they head through Coppice now. He's sort of not really bridging the gap, but at 1.1 seconds he might just get a sniff of the draft. What are these blokes in the train with him going to do? Hawkon said he's going to take a defensive line clearly as they come down here. No attacking for Troy Burgess. They're all racing pretty sensibly because they know if they've got any shot at this top step of the podium, they've got to catch Fahim before he gets away, AJ.
Yeah, and that's classic Skippy racing there. You see Hawkon again just pulling out, signalling his intention that he's not going to attack, and letting Bill Fraser try and get to work and pull Fahim back in. And it looks like he's gotten back on to the draft there now.
Yeah, look, he is. He's about half a second behind, so there's great driving by Fraser. Tell you what we see behind, though, the battle developing between Burgess and Henderson, with Gorkrocher now in P6. Still licking those wounds, as off in the distance we see a trailing Tim Awima in P7. These three now look to almost have been dropped, with Burgess now 9/10 of a second behind Grebstad. He'll be fighting the good fight, trying to get back on that leading three, as Now, oh, up the inside. What a move. Gorkrotcher, has he overcooked it? Yes, he has as he runs wide. I don't know if he missed his marker there or just overestimated what he could do up the inside there of McLean's as he tucks back inside. Now, that has really, really potentially cost them as that front six that's been going all race is really starting to stretch out now, although all still within the draft. The question is, AJ, with 7 laps to go, do they have the time to catch back up as the front three racing as smart as they can, looking to get away at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. Timmy Galcrocher licking the stamp and sending it there. Look, I have to say, he really needs to do it because he's running out of laps, and if he can pass one car every lap or two, he's got to start now.
Well, that's right. He's made the move upside there again, running very wide on the exit of turn 1 there. He made the move up the inside of Kevin Henderson now, but, well, we know he's got good pace, but has he got pace enough to get by, get through that 1.2 second draft that he is now behind Troy Burgess in P4, who is just clinging on to the draft of the front three. The front three, of course, Fahim Antonides in P1, Bill Fraser, his UK&I clubmate in P2, and from Norway, representing the Scandinavian club, we have Mr. Grebstad, of course. As I said earlier, Antonides and Grebstad trading top step on the season tally to this point as we reach the halfway point of the season at the conclusion of tonight's race. These two got all but sheep stations on the line tonight as Grebstad once again pulls out of the draft. Not really looking to make a move. He's not close enough, but certainly not looking to leave the door open for Burgess behind as we see Tim Gorkrotcher now 1.5 seconds behind in P5, really with the work ahead of him as they cross the line now with 6 laps to go, AJ.
Yeah, 6 laps to go. I mean, that's going to be pretty tough for Timmy Galcrocher now, but I'm keeping an eye further back in the pack. P8 and P9 are having a good battle. That's Russell Clark and Aitor Legera. P8 and P9, and they're quite close. It looks like Russell's just sitting in, biding his time, and maybe going to try and make a move on the last lap.
Absolutely. Aitor's had a great run through the field, up 8 positions tonight. Russell himself, your Team Milo compatriot, he's up 2 spots off the grid and probably breaking even when it comes to iRating and points tonight. Certainly in the point scoring positions for Monday Night Lights, and of course he had some early adventures if I recall correctly, so certainly doing well to recover. Tim Awema, of course, sitting here in P7, as we've mentioned before, our co-commentator at times. He's having a great debut in the top split as we jump back up front now. Antonides now well and truly in the sights of Fraser with Grebstad behind him. We've got Troy Burgess clinging on in P4 and Gorkrotcher now 1.5 seconds behind, really not making any impression. The Skippy train, the draft Skippy train in front of him there's a bit of movement up in the front three there with guys trying to sort of suss out where they're going to make that move in the closing stages. We've got the 4.5 laps remaining towards the mid stages of this lap 15, as I head down once again towards the old hairpin through the Craner curves now. These guys have really settled in. What's your strategy here, AJ? If you're, say for example, we're riding on board with Håkon Grebstad at the moment. If you're in Håkon's shoes, what are you thinking as the strategy for the remainder of this race?
Yeah, look, he's just going to have to, not get too racy. You don't want to be bringing Troy Burgess back into the race for the win, but at the same time, if the opportunity presents, he's going to have to go for it because passing here, it's not too easy. So, yeah, he's going to have to get this move done on Bill Fraser if he wants a shot at Fahim before the last lap.
Yeah, once again, pulling out of the draft here, up the back straight now on the approach to Goddard's. And just tucking behind, these guys have left all the smart racing towards the latter stages of the race to really cement that gap now. Of course, we've got Tim Gorkrotcher now sitting in P5. He is nearly full 2 seconds off this group and probably licking his wounds. Another one in amongst this big race of 17 drivers is John Scholz, who's already appeared in the chat here after retiring. We missed the incident for John Scholz tonight, but he is out of this race, as is Aaron Borg. Both of them have retired from this race. with just the 3.5 laps to go now as they race up the hill through Starsky's Bridge up to McLean's. 3.5 laps to go, AJ. It's on for all money up front.
Yeah, and John Scholz, he got caught up in an incident going through the old hairpin there. Quite unlucky. He was a bystander, innocent bystander. So unfortunate for him. But yeah, it's close up front. So I still don't want to call it yet.
No, that's right. The three of them starting to fan out now once again. Look, Burgess tucking in the draft this time, thinking about making a move out on the outside, but Hawkon once again closing the door as they run through this final chicane now through Goddard's towards the tail end of lap 16 now. These guys, this is one of your primary passing opportunities here into turn one, but still, with just the 3 laps remaining, the guys wanting to race smart, they know the potential, the speed sitting behind them in Gorkrotcher, but it looks like Gorkrotcher's resigned himself to P5 or P6 because he's let Henderson through. There's no way they're going to catch that gap over these quick guys at front, but he's just settled in behind there in P6, perhaps looking to just hang on for that top 5 tonight, AJ.
Yeah, I think Gowcrodger and Henderson, they've thrown up the white flag. They're going to be racing for P5. They're down in the 17s and 18s now, whereas we've got the top 4 still pulling the mid to high 16s and racing very closely.
Tell you what, mid to high 16s, that's some sensational times around here. Of course, the track temp tonight's pretty cool at 21.1. You wouldn't expect terribly much warmer here. Of course, we're in sunny England here tonight. Home track, as you say, for Antonides. And he's looking to make a great run at it, of course, showing his class out in front. Bill Fraser looking to make him work for it. Hawk on a grip set once again. Maybe he's worried about the engine. Maybe he's just making it known that he's not going to be an easy pass here as they cross the line with just the 2 laps to go now. Laps 17 and 19. Just jumping back to P13 and 14. We've got our 2 Iberian regulars in Oscar Chinchilla Maza and Cristobal Otero Roman not having a race to remember tonight. Looks like Oscar's missing his front nose. Been in the wars a bit, and these two working together towards the later stages of the races, but not in the money, so to speak, for Monday Night Lights points, and perhaps, yeah, they're about to dump a fair bit of I-rating between them as well. Jumping back up front, though, we have this pack now. Oh, it's Fraser, perhaps looking to take advantage now of a poor run from Antonides, switching back over to cover the line, take the inside. They're side by side now on the way up to McLean's. Fahim defending very well as he crossed over in front of the hard-charging Fraser, who runs wide there, picks up an incident point, but keeps it straight on the run-up now into Coppice now. One of the most challenging corners, not only decide on your own, let alone to go 2x2. What sort of run has Fraser got? Oh, there we go, Fahim straight over on the defensive line. What does that mean, though, for the likes of Grebstad behind? Are they going to make it through? Oh, not quite contact there, I don't think. Very, very close. Side by side they go. The gloves are off here with just the white flag left. Oh, he's into the rear. The front 3 are gone. Burgess straight through. Looks to be taking full control of this race as Henderson and Gorkrotcher go through. And let's jump back and grab a replay, AJ.
Oh my goodness, what was that? For him getting a little bit closer than he really should have been coming out of that final corner. And yeah, he's just turned Burgess. He's turned Bill into the pit barrier.
And taking Grebstad with him. That has thrown our championship leaders race into tatters. Oh my word, I tell you what, there'll be some harsh words going across the radio at this stage, I would imagine. Not least of which will be Mr. Grebstad, who would be very dark and dirty on that. Wow, they've been racing so smart. And what they've done is they've left Mr. Burgess on his return to Monday Night Lights out in front on his own. He's got a 4.5 second lead as he comes around through Coppice for the final time. Behind him, we've got Gorkrotcher and Henderson, who Gorkrotcher's, I don't know if he's forgot to fuel, but he's running very slowly by the looks. He's well down on pace. I think he's short fueled.
And look who's looming in the background. Could he take a podium in his first race in the top split? Tim Awema is catching up.
Goodness. Troy Burgess crossing the line for his victory. Kevin Henderson in P2. P3, the race is on. Can the Stig do it? The Golden Stig's got a podium. Has it? Yes, he has. He's taken the chocolates from Gorkrotcher over the line. Wow, what a story to tell. What does that look like? Let's have a look at the big grin on his face. Let me see if I can't switch across there. Look at the laugh. The heart rate's down around 106. He's happy as Larry. Look at that, folks. What a way to go into the top split. Fantastic race from Mr. Weaver. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few tears over the champagne tonight, but what a result for Mr. Weaver there as the remainder of our... Oh, there's a few in the pits too. Some of our leading runners in the pits there, but... Wow, what a finish to that race. The last couple of laps, AJ, they were outstanding action, but only if you're on the right side of them, I suppose.
Yeah, that was, geez, one of the most insane things I have seen in a race. That just absolutely threw the cat amongst the pigeons, that incident with the leaders. And yeah, I can't believe Tim Awema in P3. Oh, that's how many iRating points for him?
Well, Tim Awema will have picked up 101 iRate. He's cracked 2,700 for the first time in the history of the known universe. He'll be gritting from ear to ear, as we saw. Mr. Gorkrocher, he hung on for P4. I'm not sure if I think it must have been a fuel issue, honestly, but anyway, while we're speculating, let's go through our race results here, folks. For round 6 of Monday Night Lights, season 14 from Donington Park, of course, Troy Burgess doing the local boys proud. Look at that, the top 4 all ANZ drivers here. Troy Burgess, the leading one of them. Kevin Henderson, stalwart of Monday Night Lights, of course. Car number 12 tonight, up 5 positions in second position. The Golden Stig himself, with the race of his life, raced smart and hard, got up for P3 on the line by, what's that, just about a tenth from his co-commentator at times, Mr. Gorkrocher, in P4th. Aitor Lejaraga, sorry Aitor, from Iberia, up 11 positions in P5. Russell Clark from Team Milo there in P6. Great result for Russell there after what could have been a sorry night for him. Corey J. Ott, great to see another local boy up there in P7. Great to see him in the top split and putting on a great drive after a solid performance in the Super Skips last night. Ben Snell, a recovery drive from Ben. We say that because you can see the big -7 positions against Ben. His name, of course, he was on pole and driving really well until he wasn't. Undoing himself tonight, unfortunately. Representing Team Milo, of course. Another, the black Team Milo car, Ian Bevan, up 3 positions after not qualifying as well as he might have liked and getting turned early on, all the way down in P9. Cristobal Otero Roman in rounding out your top 10, and after not looking like he was going to get any points for Monday Night Lights, certainly finishing up with a few. Oscar Chinchilla-Maza, his compatriot, also getting points for finishing 11th. P12 and final of the Monday Night Lights points positions tonight is Bernd Halbeson. Sorry, mate. Apologies for butchering your name there, mate. P13. Oh, here come the tale of woe, the tales of woe. Bill Fraser in P13 on his special guest appearance. Håkon Grebstad, unfortunately caught up in an incident not of his own making in P14, and P15 to Fahim Antonitis, who may, oh look, he looks like he's lined up for an interview, who may be, well, we'll find out what his perspective was anyway between him and Fraser in P15. All 3 of those guys finishing in the pits by the looks, and our only 2 retirements tonight, P16 and 17 respectively, Aaron Borg, and for Team Venom Racing tonight, John Scholtz. Well, AJ, that was something to
Yeah,
behold.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, yeah, that's just rubbing salt in the wound for those top 3 as well, because they're genuine championship contenders for Monday Night Lights and the overall season. And they're not going to score any Monday Night Light points, and this is going to be a write-off for them for the official season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's a lot of iRating dumped with those, what were the top 3. If I do my maths correctly, between them, about 215 iRating, 250, I should say, with for him taking the brunt of that with 113 odd. But Look, it's hard to know who to bring up, to be honest. Look, the two of the protagonists are sitting there in Fahim and Hawkon, but our tradition here is to bring them up in finishing order, which leaves us with P7 tonight, Corey. Oh, Mr. Corey. Well, what an introduction to MNL it was for you, mate. P7 tonight. How was the racing out there for you?
Oh, it was very good. Lap one was a bit if and barge with Ian was a little bit of net code, but yeah, I'm still sorry about that, Ian. But yeah, it was pretty good. Just keeping it in the draft and hoping for accidents to happen up front, which it did with about 2 to go.
Yeah, ultimately, mate, that's bumped you up a few spots into the well inside the top 10 there, mate. But Team Bushfink Racing, do we expect to see more of you out on track this season?
Oh, exactly. After last night and tonight, I think I'll be here very, very often. That's for sure.
Awesome, mate. Well, I know I enjoyed our races, and I still owe you that replay file, but I'll chase that up just seeing he's reminded me. But I enjoyed our racing tonight, mate, and hopefully, last night I should say, and hopefully tonight's action will bring you back in the future, mate. Thank you for joining us. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks to Team Bushfink Racing, Pixel Dust for supplying the amazing paints, and Craig Setup Shop for supplying the sets.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey, mate. Well, we look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's all right. Thank you very much.
There you go. First of our interviews tonight was P7, surprisingly. Although I might leave the Stig till the end because I know he's finished up the order a fair bit. But to be fair, we might give him his moment in the sun at the end. Next on the tree, finishing order was Mr. Snell representing Team Milo tonight. Of course, Ben. Mate, what could have been? The pole in such a hotly contested field, and I have to say, it looked like you brought yourself undone a couple of times, mate.
Hi. Yeah, apparently I'm the human yo-yo tonight. Front to back and then back halfway up the field.
Yeah, mate. That was look. There was some action aplenty that brought you a bit further up than you might have expected at the end there, mate. But tell us that final chicane. It looked like you were ready to Evil Knievel launch yourself through there, and then brought undone at the old hairpin again, mate, with a rear looking to let go and the snap oversteer spitting you off into the dust.
Yeah, I just downshifted too aggressively coming into the chicane, and the rear stepped out, and then I grabbed a bit of curb, which sent me into the other curb, which sent me into the stratosphere. And then by the time I cleared the slowdown, I had old mate Golden Stig right beside me, and I had the red mist at that point because I've gone and made this massive mistake. So instead of doing the right thing and just lifting off, sitting behind him, and then working together to get back to the front pack, I decided to stick it down the outside of old hairpin and put a tire in the grass.
Yeah, I think we caught the tail end. Well, we caught both of those incidents, unfortunately for you, mate. But it was certainly a spectacular exit in both occasions. But listen, thanks for coming out once again tonight. I was hoping that with the Team Milo car on the front, that AJ'd have some exciting moments up there, mate. But bad luck on the run tonight. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just as always, you guys for hosting, broadcasting. And thanks to Team Milo. It's good to see AJ up there, even though if he's not racing, he's commentating and giving out the good stuff.
Awesome, mate. Well, I'll leave the team debrief for later. But thanks once again for joining us. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Well, there you go, AJ. He was the lead Milo driver tonight, but he, I don't know, mate. He put it on pole and then it all came unstuck.
Yeah, disappointing. He had a good shot there tonight, and that's 2 weeks where he's had first lap dramas. So come back next week, hopefully third time to charm.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm going to bring up Mr. Hawk on Grebstad, who I'm just warning, mate. It's PG up here tonight once again. Looked like you were on for a good result there and a good battle with Fahim and Fraser there. It all came unstuck towards the latter stages of the race, mate.
Wasn't that just the most frustrating thing you've seen? It's just sitting there for 18 laps waiting for something like that to happen, and then when I do do decide to go for a move on the final lap. It does happen. Like, come on.
Yeah, mate. Look, I we'll have a talk to Fahim in a moment, but it looked like he got into the rear of Fraser there on the exit, probably carrying a bit more speed, and it's hard to judge in those tight circumstances. But looked like you guys raced pretty smart, and then just a racing incident brought it all undone. And unfortunately, in the melee, I should say, you were robbed of what could have been a win in the end.
Yeah. I was too slow on the brakes, to be honest. I could have avoided that when I saw Bill getting sideways, but I wasn't sure where he was going to go. It looked like he was going right first, and he came back left. So, what can you do?
Yeah, that's racing, I suppose, mate. Well, neither you or Fahim, of course, picking up MNL points tonight. You've been chopping and changing with that lead, but hopefully next week will bring brighter fortunes for you both. Thanks again for joining us, mate, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Yeah, thanks for doing the broadcast, guys.
Well, there you have it, AJ. It was quite a downtrodden Hawkon, as you would understand, and licking his wounds after what could have been.
Yeah, no, a very mature head though. He's chalked that one up to just racing. It happens, and all you can do is move on and come out next week and hope for a better race.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we bring up Mr. Antonides here once again, Fahim, mate. Another one where what could have been after a really solid race throughout. I thought you almost got away at one point with Fraser chasing you down, but that final couple of laps, mate, it all came undone.
Yeah, what could have been a win, but ended up being a big fat zero. And it was a good race. It was an exciting race. I liked the kind of tussle we were having with Bill Fraser and Hawkon for the majority of the race. And yeah, you're right. I almost broke away. The pressure and the excitement of almost breaking free of the draft got me overexcited, and I made a couple of mistakes I shouldn't have, and that was enough to allow Bill to latch onto my draft again. And with the likes of Bill chasing you can't afford to make any mistakes.
No.
And then it was really just a question of staving him off until the end. And then what happened, as you obviously saw what happened, we all exploded into midair, didn't we? Hitting into the hitting the pit wall entry. But I thought I'd let Bill take the first part of the chicane, because then I knew that he would have a tighter line going into the second left-hand part of the chicane. And I thought with a little bit more momentum, I would then be able to carry through that left part of the chicane, the second part of the chicane. I would be able to outdrag him again back on the straight. Of course, Håkon had the same idea, and him being a little bit further back, he had even more momentum going into that chicane than I did. So as I was, catching Bill just after the chicane, he was catching us even quicker, and we all coincided on the track at the same time. Now I kept my foot firmly planted, thinking I need that momentum to get past Bill. And just as I tried to swing left, I saw that Håkon was right next to me, and I was kind of boxed in. So it was just a confluence of three different forces. Bill's momentum dying. He died a little bit more than normal as well after the chicane because he wiggled a bit, and that killed even more momentum. So I ended up approaching him even quicker than I anticipated. And then just as I'm pulling out, Håkon arrives, and it was too late to do anything. So I think we all kind of, well, Bill blamed himself for doing a dud move, which wasn't going to be able to be pulled off. So credit to him for accepting that. Håkon also said that maybe he could have lifted a little earlier, and I could have lifted as soon as I saw Håkon. But everything happened so quickly for the three of us that it just, there was nothing. I don't think anybody could have done at that point. It was just one of those things.
Yeah, that's it. Look, it's surprising for a low-powered, inverted commas, slow car, just how quickly things do happen in those sort of situations, because side by side, wheel to wheel, nose to tail in these things are so common that, your reactions have got to be on point. You're trying to seize an opportunity at the same time as avoid an incident. So it's very understandable. It's interesting. Great to hear that the camaraderie between the drivers when unpacking that incident was so strong as well. So congratulations to all three involved and putting on what was a great race. Just no doubt an unfortunate ending for all of you.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's try next week.
Absolutely. All right, mate. Before we let you go, representing Team Ivano, of course, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Absolutely. Yes. My team, my family, and you guys are becoming like a second family now every week, having to chat with you guys. So thank you very much.
No, that's awesome. Thanks for him. It's a great pleasure having
Cheers.
you here as always, mate. And we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Fahim Antoinides himself. I was trying to find the spot where the incident happened, but I think I've grabbed a couple of laps too early. But we'll let the footage roll, or we grab the last interviewer now. Although it looks like he's hang on, it's gone. Let me just pop back a lap before that and see if we can't let it run through. We'll grab the Golden Stig, join us for an interview. Let's see what the Golden Stig has to say. Tim Awema, he's made it to the top split. He's not only made it in there, he's fought his way up for a podium at the death. What have you got to say for yourself, Stiggy?
Oh, I'm just excited. Look, it was a fantastic race, and I was just happy with seventh. I was holding on to seventh position, and I was keeping a 4-second gap from the guys behind me, and I was just happy there. And then all of a sudden, I've heard that there's been a crash on the straight, and I thought, oh, this is great. And I took that position, and then I was in fourth, and then Timmy G's turned around and said, I'm out of fuel. And the eyes lit up. The heart rate would have been pumping, but I got that position. What an absolute rip blasting night.
Mate, I can't be more happier for you after, that work you've put in to crack it for the top split. And, you were comfortably in there in piece car 15 in a 17-car field, so it wasn't just sneaking in. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you went through it on the stream, but, 100 and something iRating out of the result, plus a bag full of Monday Night Lights points. Going to tell you, it's been coming. You've had 2 wins in the second split already this season, which I said last week is no mean feat, mate. So that work, and of course the golden gear is paying off. Congratulations, mate. I hope you take that one all the way to the bank.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and thanks for Alex John for stepping in tonight. That on his debut, and it was great. I got the chance to go out there and race, and it actually paid off. Look, we're talking iRating. I gained 200 tonight, so I'm putting it all in the bag. I've got my farm going. I've got seeds growing everywhere. It's just, as I said on the stream, I'm waiting for someone just to pinch me, and I'm going to wake up, and it's going to be all gone.
All right, mate.
Yeah, congrats, Tim. That was excellent. And you had pace. You qualified in the midfield and were able to work your way up. So congratulations for me, mate. Good on you.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic effort, mate, and congratulations. Really pleased for you. I can hear the grin from here, mate. But anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight, mate, before we let you go?
Yeah, look to our sponsors, Morgan Cranes. They've been with us for this year, and thanks to them. And to the Venom boys, it's good to see you. I saw Les got a great finish in the second split. Shame about Scalzi tonight, but look, great racing. Thanks to those guys, and thank you for the broadcast, Alex.
Yeah, no problems, mate. Look forward to seeing you either in here with us or on track next week.
I will be there in one way or another.
Excellent. Well, there you go, AJ. That was Monday Night Lights for another week. Quite an eventful race. Really happy for the Stig, of course. It was an eventful race for him and a fantastic result. What's your takeaways from your first experience up here in the booth, mate?
Yeah, great fun, and I'm just happy that provided the opportunity for Tim to put in that stellar performance. And he says he'll be here one way or another next week, but I don't think you're going to be able to get him out of the car next week.
Yeah, well, it depends, I suppose, how the midweek racing goes. But look, again, really pleased for him as to all our participants tonight. They put on a great show once again, and it's a lot of fun calling these races, of course. But as for yourself, mate, I know you stream on Twitch as well. What's this week holding for you?
This week we've got the second last round of the geodesic racing sprint series. That's GT3s at Phillip Island. So that's on a Wednesday night from about 8 o'clock, I think. I'll be streaming that on my channel, AJ_77.
Very good. All right. And of course, you can join me similarly on Twitch at the Top Split TV Twitch channel. I'll be there a couple of nights this week, Friday and Saturday at least. We had Sunday, of course, last night with the Super Skip special bonus double header. But then, of course, it'll be back here next week. Bigger and better, always. We look to innovate and have a good time. It's for the community, by the community, and that's how we like to do it. The guys put on a good show. We really appreciate them turning up week in, week out. And, of course, the guys in chat showing up and joining in as well. We hope you enjoy the broadcast and look forward to your company again next week. But until then, I've been your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me for his maiden journey was Mr. Alex John. And until next time, I will say ciao for now.